Hello and welcome to my 2024 in review. So welcome to December 2024, and I can look back on all the projects that I did this year. Mostly knitting, but also some crocheting. So I'm really excited to get into everything. And what I want to do is I will review everything. So I really will tell you how much I've worn it, how I liked the pattern, everything. So I'll really go over everything. And first of all, it was super fun to look at everything. It's all around me and I put it into piles chronologically. So we will start with January and February. So I have my laptop here, so if you see me looking, then you know what I am looking at. And we'll start with January. And the first thing, and that's actually something that I included in my 2023 in review, but I actually finished it on the 4th of January of 2024, so I should include it in this one. And that is my Stripe Hype sweater by Kika, a pattern by Kika. And I had knitted this with my Artemis Yarns advent calendar. I got the weekend advent calendar like I did this year as well. So I am knitting a striped sweater right now as well. And I haven't finished it, so I can't include it in this review at all. But, and then I used, for the blue, I used a sock yarn by Lang, I think. And it's a really simple sweater. I wear it all the time because I love all the colors in there. Yeah, so for wearability, gets 10 points. The alteration I made was I made the collar double folded, but I did do the cute little pop of color at the top. And yeah, the pattern is super straightforward. There's no shaping in the shoulders, so it's just you cast on for the back and it's just going straight. As you can see by the stripes, there's no short rows or anything. I am currently knitting the sibling sweater by Laura Penrose, and that has some shoulder shaping in there. And yeah, I don't really mind that it doesn't have any shoulder shaping. I wear it all the time. Like I said, I thought it turned out a little smaller than intended, but I think it grew in size by wearing it. And yeah, it's been holding up pretty well. The Artemis yarn, sock yarn, is holding up really well. The Lang yarn, not so much. It had already been pilling like right as I finished it. So that's a little bit of a bummer. You can see some pilling in here. I don't know if you can tell. Also, by the way, today the lighting is not great because it is dark outside and it is in the middle of the day. So this is what we're dealing with. I might turn on my ring light in a second if it gets too dark, but I think it's still okay right now. But that is my Stripe Hype sweater. Let's make a pile of things that I talked about. Then the next one, I started off strong because my boyfriend's birthday is in February, so I started off strong making him a sweater. I made him, and he was wearing this today. I had to take it off of him. He took it off himself, but I had to talk about it. This is, wow, the lighting is really bad. Here is the Guernsey Genser. You can really not tell that well because it's so dark. But I have knitted this in Drops Nepal, and I'm gonna say it right now. Do not buy Drops Nepal. It pales like crazy, and I wish I had knitted this in a different yarn. For example, Drops Alaska, which I love. I made my boyfriend's other sweater in that yarn, and I will make his sweater this year also in Drops Alaska is my plan. But so that's just a little heads up if you're considering getting it. It is really nice, soft, everything, but it pales so crazily. I made a little heart in the back so you can see where the back is. This is the Guernsey Genser by Sandnes Garn, and I got the little booklet that this is in. I did make some alterations, for example, how to make the bottom of the sleeve seamless, but they're all in my Ravelry project page. I usually just look at, it's what I did for my Ingrid sweater too, that will be coming up. But I did decreases on the bottom of the sleeve every time I finished a section. So yeah, you really can't tell, but it's a structured, it's a structured sweater. But that's the Guernsey Genser, and he wears it all the time. So it also has a wearability approved stamp because, yeah, he just wears it all of the time. Yeah, and it pills like crazy. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I do have a D-pillar, but it doesn't really help enough. So yeah, I wish I had made it in a different yarn. I do love the color, and you can't tell right now, but it is this really pretty dark blue with green in it, like sea green kind of. It's really pretty. And I don't have that in Drops Alaska, so that's a little bit of a bummer. And I also can't really photograph it super well, this color, but I think Drops does have it like really well on their website, the color. It's exactly how they have pictured it. So then next up was my pattern for Valentine's Day, which was my own pattern, sock pattern, the Blossoming Heart Socks. So this is a pattern by me, and it's little pots that grow a little heart out of it. So if you want to make some Valentine's socks for this year, then you can check out my pattern. I have not worn these because I don't want to, they're white and I don't want to ruin them, but they're so cute. And I actually have the perfect shoes for them now because I bought some Mary Jane shoes. I talked about that when I made them, that they would be perfect with that. And I do have those shoes now, but I'm so worried they're going to stain my socks. It's super silly because then you'll never wear your socks, but yeah, I should maybe just start wearing them. Everything about these socks is in the pattern. Let's see, the white was a laying yarn, laying wool, and then I have some different scraps that I use for the other colors. So yeah, those are those socks. And then I finished another pair of socks that I made with my leftovers from my Artemis Yarns Advent. So these are two different colors and they're kind of like dip dyed looking, and they're super nice and comfortable. This is super nice sock yarn. But there are the Petal Drop socks by Florence Miller, who's also here on YouTube, and she made this a free pattern. So yeah, I picked it up and then I made them, and they are so cute. I love that this is a different color. I don't know. They kind of remind me of those candles. I did that one time for a birthday party when I was a kid, but candles that you dip into dye. That I think I used the exact colors when I was a kid at a birthday party. So that's maybe why they remind me of that. But there are the Petal Drop socks. And I do wear them, but right now it's a little too cold for that because they have holes in them. So basically that's January and February. I'm doing 2 months at a time. And I remember after those 2 months, I didn't feel very productive. So I felt like I was behind the whole year, like I wasn't making that many projects, and that's ridiculous because I really shouldn't look at it that way. And yeah, I don't know, it just kind of always starts off that way, especially if I make a big project for my boyfriend's birthday, because then that takes up the first 1.5 months of the year, and then it's already February. But it's okay, you know, you don't always have to produce a bunch of stuff. But let's get into March and April. So I started off March by doing a crochet project. And this is one of my stashing now my acrylic yarn stash video projects, and it was the Scuddy. And oh, probably couldn't hear me there because I covered the microphone, but it is a hood and a scarf in one, and I'm making a knitted Scuddy myself right now. That is completely different, like completely different construction and everything. But this is a pattern. Yeah, it was a tutorial by Aver P, but the pattern was from Sugar Pie. It was the Sugar Pie Scuddy recipe by Charlotte W. And I know she used that as the base, but now she released a pattern, which I feel like is a little somewhere. I mean, the little like black dots in between was totally Aver P's thing, but the basic construction of this is from that pattern. So I don't know how I feel about that. So I would refer you to the Charlotte W recipe, which I think is a free pattern on Ravelry. And the funny thing is, ever since Aver P has released her pattern, my video about this Scuddy is like going crazy, like so many views, like crazy. But I feel like people think it's a tutorial because then they, like if you look at the stats of videos, people click on it and then they click away right away. Like the view time has become really short, but the views have gone up. So it's really strange. But if you're interested in me figuring out how to make this Scuddy by her 30-second TikTok tutorial, because she didn't have a pattern out back then, you can watch it. And you can click away after 20 seconds, just like the rest if you want to. But anyway, that was my first project of March. And then the next one is actually another sock. And I also made a video about these, but they're gonna go, and I put them in this little pouch because I want to do a little bit of surgery on these. But these are another pair of the 52 Weeks of Sock book. These are called Lempy by Rachel Coopy. And I made a whole video about these socks where I take you through the whole process of making them. And I have a few of those out about the 52 Weeks of Sock patterns, and then I make one at a time. And I did that for a while, and I haven't for a while now, but I'll get back to it at some point or not, I don't know. But there is a video out about these. But I want to change the toe because I really like this yarn. That is Durable Socks Tweed, and I have some left. And I feel like these toes aren't really holding up. Plus, I don't really like the tippy toe being the neon color. I just ran out of that pink. So I think I'm gonna rip out the toes and then reknit the toes using the main color, because then I think I will wear them a lot more. Also, I did and that was not in a pattern, but I did an ergonomic toe. So here's the big toe and here's the little toe, and I don't like it. So that was another reason why I wanted to get rid of this toe. I don't like it because it feels like I have to look at which sock is which all the time, every time I put them on. And I also feel like it's kind of gapey. So it's not really my thing. I think a regular toe is fine for my feet. So yeah, I don't really have a particular long big toe. So I think that's the reason it's not really necessary for me. So let's keep going because I have so much more. I have so many projects. Next project was a test knit, and if you have followed my channel, you know I don't do test knits anymore. But this was a test knit that I did after the fact, so she already released the pattern. It is the Cognac sweater by Atelier Castin. I knew it was something with an A. And it is a lovely, lovely pattern. I knitted it in 2 strands of knitting for olive. No, 1 strand of knitting for olive pure silk and 2 strands of Holst Coast, which is 50% wool, 50% cotton. And I made size 5, I think, which I would size down if I were to make this sweater again. I really like this sweater, but I do think it would be more perfect if you do the recommended yarn, which is a fingering weight yarn, anything, with a lace weight like a mohair or a surrey, because it's kind of thick. It's on 6mm needles. I did get the right gauge, so that's not the problem, but I feel like it should drape a little more, and mine just gets like, the arms are a little short, the body is a little short. I did make this as like a perfect summer sweater, but it's a little too thick for a summer sweater. And I do really like the really thin warm sweaters, if you know what I mean. So fingering with a mohair. Yeah, so kind of mixed feelings about this one. Like the arms are a little too short. I was running out of yarn. I was trying to like finish it with the yarn that I had. Yeah, it's just not there. Like the body isn't long enough, but the sleeves aren't either. So I don't know how I would make it. I could make it a short sleeve, but then my arms are gonna get cold because this part is always the cold part of my arm. So I don't really like warm short sleeves. Yeah, that's the Cognac sweater. I don't wear it enough I don't wear it as much as I would want to, but yeah, that's just what happens, I guess. And I don't think the color really suits me. I feel like gray and like muted tones really just wash me out. So I need bright or like jewel tones, I guess. I don't know. I have never done a color analysis. But then I finished, and I don't have them because they were gifts. I finished a muscle bar hat for my dad in this electric blue in the most wonderful yarn. And I have made myself a muscle bar hat in the same yarn. It's Malabrigo Arroyo. And I have made my dad the muscle bar in this bright electric blue. And I was so in love with that yarn that I bought like more than a sweater's quantity of that yarn. I'm pretty sure I could make 2 sweaters out of the quantity that I have. And I was thinking about it to make my boyfriend a sweater and myself. So we're all electric blue because I love that color. Yeah, but it's the most wonderful yarn, and if you are considering making a muscle bar, I would definitely recommend making it with this yarn, and then just use 1 skein, just knit till the end. And I have a pro tip for making muscle bar hats. You should measure how much yarn you use for the increases. So weigh it at the start, do your increases, and then if you knit straight, so the muscle bar, you just knit a lot straight because you fold it into itself, basically. So you have like double layered hat, and then like if you fold it up, it's 4 layers. So you keep knitting straight, but at that moment when you start knitting straight, so you're done with your increases, you measure again. So for example, you have 9.5 grams. Say round up, it's 10. You roll off from the outside of your skein. You roll off 10 grams, you weigh it, you put in a stitch marker, and then you roll it back on the outside of your cake. So then you can just keep knitting until you hit the stitch marker, and then you know, okay, I need to start doing decreases. And then you do your decreases, you just have the tiniest bit of yarn left. usually like half a gram because you just don't want to run out of yarn. And they have a perfect muscle bar hat. And I have done that a couple times now and it's working great. And yeah, my dad is really happy with this muscle bar hat. He is amazed by how he's not sweating in this hat. He always goes on long walks and this one is his perfect one. And I use 3.5mm needles in case you want to do the same thing. And then I also made, and I don't think I have a good picture of this one, but I made kind of a muscle burrow inspired hat. I made a top down hat for my mom using leftover yarn that I made for when I made her a cardigan. On like 6mm needles. I have the project page here. So 6mm needles. And then at some point I just went into the ribbing and then I folded it up and you can kind of see the garter, like the pearl bumps from the inside of the hat when you fold it up, but it's kind of cute. And yeah, I used the muscle bar recipe, but the gauge that I had wasn't included, so I had to recalculate. Yeah, so that was another hat, 2 hats for my parents. And then I did another test, and that was the Heartless top. This is the Heartless top by Emma Jager, and I test knitted this. This is size 5, and I use this wonderful yarn, and I should really make another project in this yarn. I love it. It's so nice, and it's holding up really nicely. I mean, I haven't worn this that much. I wore it to a wedding, and then afterwards I was like, oh no, I wore white, but I was wearing colored pants, so I think it's okay. But after the fact, I was like really embarrassed all of a sudden. I thought, oh no, I was in white. Like I didn't think about it that it was white because I was wearing a top and pants. So it's not the same as a white dress, I suppose. But you know, anyway, so I wore this to a wedding. It's really cute. Have the heart cut out. It was in the middle of summer, so I had a heart like imprinted on my chest, which was really funny because it was sunny. I should have put on a little more sunscreen. It's a wonderful pattern. It has, I think it has short rows. It has some form of short rows, I think, or not. But anyway, it fits really nicely. It has beautiful finishes. There's double knitting around the armholes. There's an I-cord edge that you put this, what's the word, galvanized steel in to like make sure that the heart stays. This is 1x1 ribbing, and then the bottom is double folded. It has beautiful finishes, and yeah, I tested it. There were some not problems, but like the order on when to knit what for this. But I think she changed it. I think that was the only thing that I found a little difficult. Like I did my own order because I felt like I didn't need to cut the yarn as much if I changed the order a bit. But I love it. Oh, and the yarn, because I was so excited about that yarn. It is called Novita Woolly Wood, and it is, I think it's like 70% tencel. Yeah, so 70% bamboo, tencel, and 30% wool. And it is lovely. And I already looked up other colors, and they have, I think they have like a navy blue. And I was thinking of making something in that. I knitted this in 3.5mm needles, and I think it is recommended to use like a 4 or a little bit more, but I think it's perfect for 3.5 for me, for my gauge. And I love it. It's so nice and drapey, and it was not warm in the summer. It was perfect. So I should really make some summer tops with this yarn this year. This is the Cognac cardigan by Atelier Castin. It's the same designer and it's the same design. And I test knitted this in a size 4, and it fits a lot better around the shoulders because I felt like the Cognac sweater was a little too big around the shoulders. And it's really cute. I love it. There were a few options for the neckline. That was the same for, by the way, for the Cognac sweater. She had an I-cord option and ribbing option for all the ends. And I chose I-cord for all of them because I think it looks really chic. I did make this one with a fingering and a mohair held together, or it was not a mohair, it was the Midna Sol by Camarose. And I don't wear it that much. I feel like it's super short. I think the cardigan I'm wearing right now is pretty short, but this one is particularly short. I really like the length of the sleeves. I got enough length out of those, so that's good. And yeah, I don't really wear it that much. I don't know. I haven't figured out where I want sweaters to hit me, like what length I want it to be. I should really figure that out for myself. I think it's somewhere where this cardigan is, but then maybe just a little bit longer. I have some examples that I do like, but this one is a little bit too short, I would say. So I don't wear it enough. Maybe I should wear it more where I just have it all the way buttoned up and then tuck it in. Because I do wear high-waisted pants usually. So that's that one. And then we go into May. So I started off May making a pair of bear paw socks for a friend. So I'll pop in a picture. I don't have them. I gifted them to her. I made a lot of bear paw socks. It's a pattern by Andrea Mowry. It's a DK toe-up sock, and I really like the toe-up sock. And they have a Flegel heel, which is also a really enjoyable heel to do. Then I finished my Dartmoor sweater. So you will have seen this sweater a lot on this channel. It is the Dartmoor sweater, and I feel like we needed a little bit more lights. It is the Dartmoor sweater by Kadri. I always get Kadri and Rosetta confused. I don't know. But anyway, here is the Dartmoor sweater by Kadri. And yeah, I love it. I really like it. I went down a needle size, but I wish I hadn't because I feel like the fabric is a little thick. I think it would have been perfect, like absolutely perfect, if I would have gone with the recommended needle size. And the most beautiful detail is this beautiful detail on the back running all the way along to the other side. There's short rows in the back. I do like where this one hits me. That's a good length. And I think the only thing I changed was I did 2x2 ribbing for all the ribbing instead of the 1x1. So that's the only thing I changed. And I used JC Rennie a cone, and I held 3 strands together. So that's kind of why it's so thick. And then I used a 5mm needle instead of a 5.5 that is recommended in the pattern. I wear it all the time, and it's starting to pill kind of, but the fabric is so nice. So it's kind of like this, you can like really shave it really well. And then it's perfect. Like the fabric is just starting to form. I feel like it's really a sweater that I can keep forever. Like it's holding its shape really well. So that's thanks to the yarn. I did have to wash it really well. I would not recommend the cones from JC Rennie because they're really oily and greasy. Another pair of socks from my 52 weeks of socks thing. So I have a video about these. These are mica, and as you can see, they're worn. It is a pattern by Christine Vigar, and I made them for my boyfriend in this kind of light DK weight sock yarn, but I made them on 2.5mm needle. But it's Lindewool, and it's sock yarn with rami, which is a nettle, and they're holding up really well. So I can tell, I can recommend using rami instead of nylon. So they're 100% natural, which I like because then it can be broken down by nature. And that feels a little bit better than using nylon. So yeah, I might look into more nettle yarns, nettle sock yarns, because I do really like natural fibers. And my boyfriend wears them all the time, as you could tell. He was wearing them for Christmas because they're kind of Christmassy. And yeah, my family was joking about that it's two colors and that it's weird. I don't think that's weird. It's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, they're the inverse of each other. And I think it's cute. And my boyfriend thinks it's cute. So that's all that matters. Then I had finished a top that I had started a year earlier. So I started it in June 2023 and I finished it in June 2024. So this is my camisole number 6 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I made it in this fingering weight bamboo yarn. So it's nice and see-through. And I did make it on the, I think I made it on the 3.5 millimeter needle. And it's kind of see-through, and I wanted it to be more snug and tight. And I like the yarn. It's Nurturing Fibers Eco Bamboo in the colorway Baltic. And I haven't really worn it because, I don't know, insecurity about my shoulders. Yeah, super silly, but yeah, that's how it goes, isn't it? But I am happy that I have it because it's such a staple for in my closet, and I will be able to wear this my whole life. Yeah, it's a really nice top. It's just a simple, and it has this ribbing. So this is all pearl, and then this is all knit. I like this pattern a lot. It's really nice and simple. So I finished that one. This is still in June. And then I finished 2 gifts, 2 pillows. And I have some other ones here. This is the Astrid pillow by Mallory Crawl, but I made that one later. I made 2 pillows with my acrylic yarn. I have a video about those as well. As a wedding present for my sister-in-law. Yeah, I made her 2 pillows. That's basically all I can say. They were crocheted, and I had a lot of fun making them. So I made 2 other ones later in the year. And then I also finished this top, which I do wear a lot in the summertime. This is the Typical Thursday tank, or Typical Thursday top. Yeah, by Tiffany Liu. And I made it in 1 strand of Knitting for Olive pure silk. It was a test. Oh, I like it. I really like this yarn as stockinette. I used this yarn, the pure silk, before for a cabled top last year. And I don't really like how it is when you cable it. Because it gets really holey, but if you make stockinette, then the fabric is really nice. It is pretty see-through. I knitted it on 3.75 millimeter needles, so it is a little, but if I wear it, it's not really see-through, so that's pretty good. I made a lot of alterations, I think on the front, because I have one of the bigger sizes. I made the 2XL. It's supposed to be kind of snug, but I made it a little bit bigger so it wouldn't be snug because I didn't want the buttons to like gape. I don't like that look. But I did the increases a lot faster for the armhole because otherwise it would have been too big. So that's what I did. Yeah, so I wear this a lot in the summertime. I really like this. It's really nice and flowy and soft and like not too warm, not warm at all actually. And then I also made my boyfriend's wedding outfit for the wedding because he was performing. And I crocheted him the Relaxagon shirt, a pattern by Caroline Zuschlag. And I made a whole knitting vlog or a crocheting vlog about this one, but nobody's watching it. So I don't know. I felt like it was a cool idea, but so if you want to watch it, you can watch it. It's a really cool shirt, I think. He got so many compliments at the wedding. It's 100% cotton. It's it's Drops Saffron. I thought it was the hobby yarn, but no, it's Drops Saffron in marzipan and then fuchsia as the other color. And I found, in the US, I found this beautiful buttons that really go well together with this shirt. And he loves it, but he never wears it because he feels like he needs a special occasion to wear it. And I told him the entire summer, wear your shirt, wear your shirt. And now it's winter time, so now he's not wearing it. But I will tell him to wear it all the time for the upcoming summer. So then we go to July and August, and those were really quiet months. I just made 2 pairs of socks. So these I made while being in the US, and I made I just made a toe-up sock. I felt like having self-striping socks, and I went to a yarn store in Montana, and I just bought a self-striping yarn because I wanted to make self-striping socks. And it's a 2x1 ribbing, and then stockinette on the bottom of the foot, and then later I added in an afterthought heel. They're a little snug, so I think I need to increase the length that I use for my foot, because like you can tell they're a little, like the heel should be up a little higher, but I converted to heel flap and gusset anyway. And I made another pair of bear paw socks for another friend that I haven't gifted yet. So they are in my closet waiting for her. So I made 2 pairs of socks. That's July and August, but I was working on a bunch of things, but I just didn't finish anything. So what I was working on, and this will be September and October. So this is the second last pair of things that I talk about. But what I was working on, and this was when I did this video about finishing all my whips, and I did finish 3 of the 4 that I was working on at that point. So this is when I finished this beautiful, I don't know if it's beautiful, but it's so functional. It's perfect. I finished my squishy cardi rope, which I don't have a pattern for, but I designed it, like I calculated everything. And it is a garter robe, but then the sleeves are completely in stockinette. And I striped with all of these balls that I had of Drops Melody, and I love that yarn. I have a sweater in a Drops Melody, 1 strand, and this is all 2 strands all together. But I wear that one when I'm cold in bed, and it's the perfect thing ever. It's so soft, and I was thinking even to buy some more, but this was really like a stash buster project, so I don't want to just have a bunch of Drops Melody in my stash again. So I want to have something in mind that I make, but it is just lovely. It's so nice. I would really recommend Drops Melody for like a sweater that you wear to bed. I don't know if you want to make one, but I would recommend making one. Or a scarf. I was thinking of making a scarf. But anyway, I made this tie, and then I crocheted these little holes. And yeah, it is lovely. I wear it on the couch all the time. And my biggest thing last winter was that I was cold like around my hips all the time. And that's where this comes in. It's long enough so it goes around my hips, and then I have the tie and I tie it together, and I'm so nice and warm. And I have a hot water bottle now that I'm making a cover of right now that is not included because I'm still working on it. But just want to be warm in the house in the winter. It's so cold in here, but this is the perfect, this is just perfect. Like, you know, I'm like trying to sell it, but I haven't even made a pattern, but this is perfect. So yeah, I don't know. I talked more about it in that video that I said that I did of finishing all my whips. And then I also finished, and that was another pattern that I designed myself. I started this in the US, so this is one of those things that I was working on in July and August. But this is my little button vest, and I made this with one strand of Farmer's Daughter's fibers, Silk-a-Pee, held together with a kid silk mohair. It's the same, it's a white kid silk held throughout, and then two different colors. This one's called In a Jam, and this one, I don't know, Orchid. No, Bitterroot. Okay. And I didn't do short rows, but I did do increases along this line here. And then I striped it. And I think it's really cute. It came really cute. I did a little stripe here, did a little stripe here, did a little stripe here. And I did a lot of buttons because I think that looks really fun. And I am also meaning to write a pattern for this. Something is holding me back. I've only released sock patterns, but I know I am capable of making garment patterns because I calculated my own pattern for my own measurements a couple times. So I will be able to do the same for other people. I have an engineering degree. I don't know if you know that, but I am pretty good with numbers. So I will be able to make it, but something is holding me back. And I think it's just, I'm just a little scared of it. So maybe this should be a New Year's resolution. Okay, that's a topic for another time. Then I also finished in that same month oh no, we're in October now. I finished in October my Ingrid sweater. So yeah, this is my Ingrid sweater, a pattern by Petite Knit. And I love it. I wear it all the time, and I made some stains on it, and I just cleaned them out and they're gone. So I'm really happy with that. I tried to spot clean them and it didn't work. So I just like put it in my bathtub together with some other things that needed to be washed. And then I put some wool wash on where the spots were, and then I got it out. So now it's perfect again. And it really like kind of shrunk back after washing it and blocking it. So the neckline is a little bit higher again. It was kind of like falling down, but yeah, pretty fun. Anyway, I used Tin Pergent held double in the colorway Lemon. It's holding up really nicely, and I had to make this so I could match with my boyfriend with his Guernsey Genser that I finished in February. And sometimes we wear it at the same time, and it feels really fun because we are matching. It's kind of like a similar pattern. So it's kind of fun that I have both. I have made both. And then now we're getting really close to the end because this feels like I just casted it off. Then I made these two, which are my mittens that I wear all the time. The Alma mittens by Maya Akerström. And I'm pretty sure I followed the pattern exactly. I used a Tin Pergent held double in the colorway Sunny Lime that I bought a sweater's quantity of, that I want to make a sweater out of because I love that color. And then I used a speckled Peer Gynt, and I don't know if you can tell, but there's some speckles everywhere. So there's some red and blue in the white. So yeah, I wear them all the time. They're great, and they're starting to felt a little bit on the hands. I wear them going mountain biking sometimes, and I don't think that's the best idea because my handlebars are really scratchy. And then I think I felt them really a lot when I do that. But I haven't found great mountain biking gloves yet. So if you mountain bike and you have gloves that you like, please let me know. Because I've been wearing these and it's not great because you also don't really have grip. So yeah, let me know. Last summer I started spinning and I made my first project with my hand spun. This is the silk mohair beanie, a pattern by Anna Tanskanen. And it was supposed to be a lot longer and then fold up a bunch, but the yarn that I had was really not that much. So yeah, if I fold it up a bunch, then it's really short. And I don't really think it looks very good. Yeah, I'm not going to put it on. But it's really warm. I held it together with a mohair. You can really see the thick parts and the thinner parts. I don't know. I felt like I should just make something with that first skein of hand spun that I had. So I'm glad I made it, but I don't really see myself wearing it. Ta-da! But it was my hand spun, so it's should go up on the wall or something. I don't know. So yeah, I finished that one too. And then I made my grandpa some socks. So I'll put in a picture of me holding them in a video. Yeah, I told him to wear them to Christmas, but he says he only has 2 pairs of socks that he wears. And then one is in the laundry and the other one he wears. And then he switches when the other one is out of the laundry. He told me that. It was really funny. But I convinced him to wear it for Christmas, and then he didn't do it. He didn't wear them. I think he forgot. He's a little forgetful sometimes, but it's kind of cute. I don't know if he'll ever wear those socks, but that's okay. Then I made my Astrid pillows. So there's one there, and there's one right behind me holding me warm. I'll put up this one. So I made 2 Astrid pillows using my advent calendar of Olivia and Oliver fibers from last year, as all the different colors. So I made 2 pillows out of those. I used 10 minis for the one and then 10 other minis for the other one. And yeah, I crocheted together with this Viking yarn. It was Viking Super Wash. And then I stuffed a too big of a pillow in there. So they're all like, I mean both. They're both kind of oddly shaped because the pillow in there is too small. But I am glad that I did it because that pillow would have not been like firm enough to my liking for a bigger pillowcase. And there's some strands coming out. So yeah, I don't know. They're not holding up super well. I don't know if it's the yarn or the pattern, just like the way that it is constructed, or that I put the pillow in, or everything combined. But we do use them on the couch all the time, and they're nice and firm because the pillow, the insert is too big. So yeah, I do wear them, use them all the time. They're just out here to show, and I thought it would be a nice background. I don't know. So yeah, I made 2 pillows, and then I made my scrap and socks. This was my first pair. I'm wearing my second pair right now, but I finished those later. And I have been wearing these. Yeah, these are the medium stripe version, and I am wearing the mini stripe version because they're really nice and soft. A lot of my scraps from my Olivia and Oliver Fibers advent calendar that I made the pillows in, I used for these socks. Actually, this is only scraps from that, and then I used some Regia yarn for the heel and the toe. But the socks that I'm wearing, the mini stripe, I used a lot of different yarns for that. So yeah, this is a pattern by me. Like I said, I only have sock patterns out, but yeah, they're really fun. And my intention was to make scrappy socks, like a pattern for scrappy socks. and that you could knit them during Advent. So I finished these in November so I could publish the pattern before December, and then I was knitting a pair myself in December, which I can talk about now too because I'm already talking about it. I'll take off one sock. These are also worn. As you can see, these are the mini stripe version. So yeah, I have all instructions in there in the pattern of how to choose how many stripes you can do for your size, and then like how many stripes you need basically for your foot. Yeah, so I used a bunch of yarns that I had. I had 24 different colors for this one. So they're all different colors, and yeah, to really mimic the idea of using an advent calendar for your socks. And then I use a Regia yarn again for the heel, toe, and cuff. So I talked about those already too. Then I also finished a pair of mittens for my boyfriend. These are the, and this I'm gonna try to pronounce it, and I haven't tried it yet. Skogstjerne. Skogstjerne. I think it's Norwegian, I think. It's a pattern, it's a Selbu mitten, and I have made so many alterations on these. So if you're interested in doing the same things, then you can check out my Ravelry project page. I put everything in there, including new charts. So look how big these are for me. The regular size was too small for him, so I made a new chart for the top bit that also ends a little nicer than the pattern. The pattern just abruptly ends like right here. And I made a new little thing based on the thumb up here. And then I also made a new chart for the thumb because it was increasing so that you would have your thumb here all the time. But I used what I knew from the Alma mittens that has the thumb like more towards the outside. So I changed how I did the thumb for that. So there's changes on the thumb, and there's changes here on the top. And I also started off with more stitches because I wanted to have enough room here. And they fit my boyfriend perfectly, and he's really happy with them. I used a tin Peer Gynt held double for the whites, and then the leftovers from my Darkmer sweater for the green. So we have matching mittens, and I feel really cute when we wear them. And he has a long cuff on the wrist, and it's really nice and warm. So I want a new pair of these kinds of mittens with a longer cuff. And I did get gifted the Songbird mittens by one of you guys, so thank you for that. So I think I'll do the same thing with those, just make a really long cuff, but make it look a little cuter because the Songbird mittens are really cute. I made a bunch of ornaments. So these are two different patterns. I made the Christmas bell, and I made this snowflake crocheted. So this is knitted and this is crocheted. And then I put some bells on my bells and put some cute ties on all of them. And they were hanging up in a tree. I just took them out to show you. But I made a bunch of these in December. And then I also made this one, the Ribke pouch, pattern by Red and Sea Witch, and I've been using that as an earpods case. So I put my earpods in here, and it works perfectly because then I don't really lose them. Although my pouch is here and my earpods are, I don't know, not in the pouch. So it's not really working great. And then I made another one of these as a Christmas gift. I made cloud slippers for my brother for, well, it wasn't Christmas gift, it was Sinterklaas gift, which is like in the beginning of December. And then I also made a little Christmas bell for my mom. So those were gifts. And then finally, well, finally the socks, but before that, I made this cardigan, which is the Cornelia cardigan pattern by Sunday's Garn, which was really hard to get. The pattern was really hard to get, but I did, and I was able to finish it before Christmas. I made a video specifically about this project, and a lot of people have been really liking that video, so thank you for watching it. Yeah, and I think I will make more of those videos in the new year because I really enjoy making project vlogs. I do them all the time, but I don't really make it like specifically for one project. So I think I will do that from now on. And there is one coming up, which is the Lonely Leftovers Fest that I have been working on as an acrylic stash bust project, but it will come up soon. I am amazed seeing all of this, what I have been able to make in a year. Please just don't, we don't need to compare ourselves. Like what I said at the start, I was feeling like I wasn't knitting fast enough or something. There's things that come with having a YouTube channel specifically for knitting and crocheting. You kind of feel like you need to produce, but you don't have to. And also, if you're watching this, you don't have to, and you don't have to compare yourself with me. If you're making more or less than me, it doesn't matter. We're all just crafting and having, we're all just doing a hobby. So I just wanted to put that out there. And pretty cool. I love making, and I love looking back on all of these things and seeing what I made and what I wear all the time. So looking forward to the next year and looking at everything that I have here, I really want to get better at knowing what I would actually wear. And I have been trying to do that the last year. But still, I've made a few things that I barely wore, like my cognac sweater and cardigan. So there are things that I haven't really been wearing, but I did put a lot of time in making. So I want to focus on really making things that I will wear and not something that just looks nice. Also, if that is something that is maybe like a fingering weight sweater that takes a lot of time, if I will wear it, it's nicer than having 2 projects on 6mm needles, like the cognac sweater and cardigan. Like you put in just as much time, but you do wear it. So I want to look into that a little bit more in 2025. And also I would like to share more on a project-based method. So I want to just share project by project with you guys. And also let me know what you would want to see. Looking back on the year, like on my YouTube channel, it's been pretty amazing. This is the first year where I really felt like I was a legitimate YouTube channel when it comes to knitting. That feels kind of weird to say, but I just passed 2,000 subscribers. So hello, thank you. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for being here. But yeah, this was also the year that I got to 1,000 subscribers. And I was so excited when I got to 1,000 subscribers. It had made me feel really validated this year. So it feels good. I started this channel in January of 2022. I posted my very first video and it was so awkward. I put it out there and then pretended I never did. And then I seriously picked it up in August. So I had my second YouTube video out there in August of 2022. And then I started to do it seriously. And then it just started growing. And now here we are. So I really want to thank you for being here with me. And it's kind of a nice time to reflect. So thank you for being here, and thank you for everybody who's left a comment or gave me a like for the last year. I see regular people coming back into the comments. Thank you for being one of those, but also thank you for people who are just watching. I know there's a lot of you out there who are just watching my videos, and just enjoy that. And that is so okay. So thank you for doing that as well. Yeah, grateful. Thank you. And I'll see you in 2025.